Okay, so we are live now with this next appointment of X Share. Okay, we missed for a few time, but we are returning with a very special guest. And we have with us Luciana Verastegui, right? If I spelled well. ¿Cómo estás, Luciana?
Muy bien. I'm really well. Thank you for asking. What about you?
Fine, fine, thanks. Today was sunny, it's starting to spring here, so I'm very happy. And of course, I'm glad to have you here, so more than happy. So, Luciana, as I said, is a very special person because now we are gonna discover a little bit about her. But as we mentioned also in the advertisement about this appointment of expert chair, she's dealing with the oceans, and it's very fascinating topic, I think. But yes, I'll give the floor to Luciana first of all to let her introduce herself, and then maybe let's discover a little bit about these mysterious oceans. So thank you,
Thank-
Luciana.
Thanks to you. So thank you for welcoming me here. It's a pleasure. And I mean, you're my friend since the COP25. So I truly appreciate that we're continuing with this conversation and having a contact with each other. My name is Luciana. You can call me Lucy. And I'm from Mexico. I'm currently living in Cancun, that is a coastal zone, and I am 18-year-old Mexican girl. Something special is that currently I'm coordinating an international network, a working group that is from the youth constituency of the United Nations that is called YOUNGO. So as you can see at my background, Ocean's Voice, we are a group of people and young members, young leaders that are contributing to problems towards the ocean. So I think that's something important. And before starting, I want to say that we as Ocean's Voice recognize the ocean as one. So that's like how we want to everyone to perceive it because it connects all of us.
Thank you very much. Yes, she said a lot of things, and she said very important things. In fact, this commitment of youth regarding this very important topic is something that uh, personally fascinates me a lot. She's very young, as we can say, but very committed. But why? Tell us a little bit how it starts this passion for ocean and marine environments.
I think it's a really interesting story. When I was young, I started participating in organizations, but not as environmental organization. I was, for example, in social organization or topics not related regarding ocean. But when I was invited as a youth delegate from Mexico to the COP and also as ambassador of Plan for the Planet, I started searching for sponsorships. So one of the person that called me for them to pay my plane for me to go to the COP, he was a lawyer and he was specialized in the part of coastal zones. So when I was talking to him, he also provided me not only the sponsorship to go to the COP, but also advisory. And he introduced to me the topic of the ocean. He introduced to me the topic of blue carbon. So in that moment, I get like really close to the topic. And even though because I I am really related with the topic of the ocean because I live close the ocean and I live in a coastal zone. So that makes me feel more engaged in the topic that he was showing to me. So at the COP, at the conference of the party that it was in Madrid, in Spain, I was talking regarding blue carbon. So that was my main topic. And all the dialogues that we had with other gym members was regarding blue carbon and as well the ocean. So unfortunately at the COP, we were going to introduce after a lot of work with other members and after making a position document, we needed to introduce that document to Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General. But at the moment we need to introduce it to him, they tell us like, no, you can't, because this topic of the ocean has a lot of their interest between, and there's so many things that are being managed that you cannot introduce this work to Antonio Guterres. And the other topics did, like for example, gender equality did, like cities did, like other topics they presented, they introduced their position document to Antonio Guterres, but we didn't. So at that moment, I said, like, we need to do something. There's something missing here. And then this was the COI, the Conference of the Youth. But when we were working at the COP, I also understood that the topic of the ocean needs more support. And taking into consideration that we're in the decade of the ocean established by the United Nations, and also that this COP, the last COP, the COP25, was also named the Blue COP, didn't make a lot of emphasis on the topic of the ocean. So at that moment, I needed to do something. So I started to coordinate and make more active the working group from YOUNGO that is called Ocean, and now it's Ocean's Voice. So there's the moment in which I started to working towards really hard towards the topic of the ocean.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your very insight about the starting of Ocean's Voice, that now is right to become a little bit bigger, I can say. But of course, I'm joking because it's very, very like expanded since the first time that was in COP25. You mentioned well, the last COP was called the Oceans COP, and also the IPCC in the is one of the last reports that release. It deals properly on oceans and cryosphere. So which is now the situation of Ocean's Voice? How are you organize? How do you, I don't know, meet up? What are your next activities?
I mean, right now, with all the support of all the members, we have currently 327 members from 75 countries. So we started with only 10 members, and now we're a big family, a big community. And it's not only young people as me. I mean, we have young members that had around like 13 years old, but we also have members that had around 30 years old. So it not depends on what age do you have. You can also be part of Ocean's Voice. Actually, we have advisory that is giving us the support, like technical support for us to approach other projects. And right now we are in the regional project. So we started with an Ocean's Voice project. This means that all the regions, because we're divided in 4 regions, all the regions work towards one project. So it doesn't matter that you are not from that region, you need to work towards that. So for example, we were working in a specific place in Spain that was passing through an eutrophication process. That means the lack of oxygen in the lagoon. So everything was dying, and it was affecting all the ecosystem with it. So at that moment, we realized that some members from, I don't know, from Africa or from America, they were saying like, why I need to take care in consideration, or maybe important for me, a topic that is not passing through me, like near myself, near my country, near my region. And it's not that way. It's like, because the ocean is one, and that also is responsible. You're responsible of managing that place. So the people feel like so far from the realities, and we needed to change that mindset. So we started with that project for us to recognize that we are one ocean. And then right now, we already passed a like process of webinars, and we are right now passing in the regional project. So now that we finished the Ocean's Voice project, each region will have their own project. So this means, for example, America will have their own project, Africa will have their own project, Asia, and also Europe. So we're in the process of deciding which will be the projects that we will need to approach, because all the team members that are in each region need to decide. And the advisory will help us on how can we approach those projects in the correct way and with a strategy.
That's wonderful. I think you did a lot of job in so little time. So congratulations for your work, first of all. And now, next question is more on like the perspective also on your work, in the sense, what do you think are the next challenge for, in general, youth and also environmentalists to protect the oceans?
I think right now what we're passing is a misunderstood and not a lack of information, but we have a lot of information that may not be correct. So sometimes you have a perception in which you think the ocean is like it's happening a situation, but it's not happening that situation. So I think the person and the youth, what happens is that they don't feel related right now with the ocean, or they don't feel close to the ocean, or this topic of the ocean is a really complex topic. So what happened is that all the information that you got maybe not be the correct one, and you may not receive the correct information. I will give you an example for the Seaspiracy, the film that we had. They have a lot of perceptions in which, from my opinion, I would say that that film is a really good one, but expresses that some organizations are not approaching the correct way. So, and that is incorrect. I think that all the organizations are doing their job, and what we need to do right now is to unite ourselves to do, because we have our same like main goal to save the ocean. But right now we are like creating this part of competition between each other instead of cooperation. So I think that's a really big challenge because we're not working together. So I think I think is that we're not working together, and we need to work together toward the same goal.
Okay, thank you very much. In the meanwhile, you were talking, I was a little bit surfing on your Facebook page that then we can also share by the listener. And I find a video that I think that maybe I'll share with you, and we'll be glad also to maybe let's see by who is viewing this web talk. So I'll share you in the chat. Tell me is a nice video to show, because I saw that it's very impressive. In the middle, if you yes, okay, I can do. Okay, so now I will share a brief video that you can find also on the Facebook page of Ocean Voice. Then we will remind also the address. And yeah, let's give a look on the work of Ocean Voice. As I said, they are very like skilled and fantastic also in video making, I can say.
Thank you. I love this video, actually.
Yes, then you can tell a little bit more about that.
I think you're not sure.
We are the Ocean Voice. Somos la voz del océano.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Somos la voz del océano.
Tayo ang boses ng karagatan.
Somos la voz del océano.
Je suis la voix des océans.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Somos la voz del océano.
Somos a voz do oceano.
Somos la voz del océano.
Mini Apu Baby.
Ami samudra ka आवाज हो.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Somos la voz del océano.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Wir sind Stimmen vom Ozean.
Somos la voz del océano.
Awani Aborosokun.
Somos la voz del océano.
Kita adalah suara laut.
Nous sommes la voix de l'océan.
हम हैं समंदर.
Nous sommes la voix de l'océan.
احنا صوت المحيط.
Siamo la voce dell'oceano.
Somos la voz del océano.
Somos la voz del océano.
Jesteśmy głosem oceanu.
We are the voice of the ocean.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Somos
la voz del océano.
Nous sommes la voix des océans.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Nous sommes la voix de l'océan.
Nosotros somos la voz del océano.
Nous sommes la voix de l'océan. Une voix, un océan.
Somos la voz del océano.
Nous sommes la voix de l'océan.
We are the voice of the ocean.
Somos la voz del océano.
Guys, just to say, we are the voice of the ocean. One voice, one ocean.
Somos la voz del océano. Un planeta, un océano, una voz.
Nosotros somos Ocean Boys.
Yeah, so there is where it finished. I mean, I truly love this video because it was the first video we made for Ocean's Voice. So it was like the identity we had and the reflection we want to give to other people around the world. And I think like to be the first video, I think it recognizes like the sense and the spirit that everyone has towards the ocean. And maybe some people has different perspectives about it, but we all have our same goal, even though we are from different places of the world and we have different cultures and different, I don't know, backgrounds, but we're together in this. So I think that was the main message for this video.
Yeah, that was wonderful, and I'm envious. The next time I want to be there, of course, you know. No, but really amazing job, guys, because yeah, it's really, it touched the heart, in my opinion, because it's full of also like passion and commitment that you have for this great work that you are doing. Now, I'm also on your Facebook page. I don't know if you want to explain something, maybe some of the initiatives that are there, or maybe how we can serve better the Facebook page.
Okay, so I think it is a good question. When we want to share, like we are right now currently in the topic of the region, in the regional projects. So before that, we have different campaigns. We have the campaign for the endangered species. That is the one that you can see. And also we had also the first regional webinar. So we have Europe, we have Asia, America, and we're missing Africa. So that's the only one that we're missing. So we will do it next week. And after that, we will start with the regional projects, in which there will be a lot of work towards that. I think at least we will take with each project like 3 months. So we will finish after 3 months our projects, because we need to make a complete project. And also if we want, for example, what we did with the last Ocean's Voice project is the international collaboration. So for example, if any region needs the support of all Ocean's Voice towards that specific project they're working, we can do it. So that means we can also provide international collaboration to projects that are already started. So something important to mention is that we did not start a project, we push projects to make it true. So that's something important. So you can see in this, for example, what we use the Facebook is to put the recordings and to the transmissions for the webinars. If you want to see, for example, a little bit about the posts and a little bit about what we can do, you can watch Instagram. So Instagram is a little bit more about what are we doing daily, but Facebook is more about transmissions that we want to show and the recordings. So that's a little bit differences between each other. But I mean, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, and also we want to mention, well, I want to mention that we did a podcast. So in that podcast that you can find in Spotify and I think other 8 platforms, you can find it in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. And we're talking about the Ocean's Voice. And we also talk about eco-anxiety. So we have those topics, and we will continue with other more topics about for the podcast. but yeah, I mean, we have that instrument.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, just the time to change the screen. Maybe I also try to go into the Instagram account, so you can. We also post then after the speak is finished, all the links down the broadcasts on our Facebook page of Hubzine. But yeah, that you touch also another important topic, that is eco-anxiety. It makes me to make you a question about that. How is your perception of eco-anxiety also among the youths? How they feel, and which are like properly the mood that they have on this great like effort and also burden of protecting the environment that unfortunately our generation have.
It's a good question. I mean, with eco-anxiety, we need to think about more deeper, because when we're talking, when you are an activist in climate advocate and ocean advocate, sometimes it's about persistence. So you won't see the results so fast as you want to. So it's a lot of persistence. It's a lot of sometimes you question yourself about what are you doing, if I'm doing the correct. So that also happens to me. Like if I'm doing the correct things, if I like leading my team in the correct path, what I need to do well so I can improve it. So I mean, there's so many things we are thinking, and moreover, because we're in a pandemic, and we're in this part of everything online. So in this moment, I think we're working more than when we were like physically and we're not with the pandemic, because we're always in the computer. You're always like trying to work towards the projects. So it's not easy. I mean, you need to take it with a lot of calm, and you need to do what you love. For example, I really suggest to you to choose a topic that you love. For example, for me is the ocean, and I truly prefer to work with ocean's voice rather with other things, because that's what I love and that's what I care about. But sometimes you also need to take a rest, to think about yourself, and then start again. So what I think is that you need to be good with yourself so you can help and be in the service of others. So I mean, it's a topic that depends on the person that you talk to. But for me, is that it's a lot of, if you're a climate activist, it's a lot of things you need to take consideration. I mean, not the results will be in the right moment, or in so fast that you wanted them.
Yes, totally agree. And I think also that this pandemic, in a way, if we can see a positive side, is that it letting us to understand a little bit this thing of the times, and also to take some time for us, as you wisely said. And but do you think that there are several also experts that think that this pandemic can help to restore the contact also with nature and so on? What's your opinion about?
I think I agree, and I would say I would say as an example, my advisor, that is Patricia Furtado, and also I will use as an example myself. In this pandemic, in the moment you take time for yourself, when she's also in Brazil, and I want to mention her because I think that's a great example. She was telling me that she has a lot of work to do. Actually, she was invited from Prada to be the moderator in an event. So I mean, she has a lot of work. So as I do, and other members. So what she did is she like go in another place, in another house from her family, and she was close the ocean in like near the beach. So like she needed just to have some steps, and she was in the ocean. So for me, she was telling me her testimony, like she said, like this is the first time you can recognize and you can understand the ocean, and you can understand the topics about climate change and the topics about the planet in books, and you can read it and you can make the research. But the moment you are there and you take your time to deeply connect with their nature, with the environment, is where you recognize the value of the things. And I mean, it doesn't mean that reading and making the research, high value, but it's a different type of value. I think it's more like spiritual. So I think makes you to reconnect with the things that matter. So I think with this pandemic, you need to take a stop. you need to look around yourself, and you need to recognize the value of the nature that you have on yourself. And you need to also understand that it's not forever. So if you take care of it, it will continue and it will start like reproducing. But if not, it's our responsibility to take care of that. So I think I truly agree with that. I think it's a really good lesson, but it's also your role and your responsibility to stop and try to make the connection with the environment.
Yes, thank you very much for these words that are very inspiring, and yeah, I totally agree. I can say better than you did. Thank you very much for your insight. Now I take the chance to also let's see the Instagram profile. So this is the Instagram profile. You can find them at ocean_voice_. So follow them, important, because I saw that there are a lot of things, and also like the Facebook page of Ocean Voice. So now we are going to close this amazing talk. I want to continue more and more, but I know that maybe, yeah,
You know that I
we
love
have.
to talk.
Sorry.
You know that I love to chat and to talk.
Yes, we can continue more and more. I don't know if you want. We can also like continue for a bit, because okay, as I said, this share is properly a window to share experience. So yes, maybe, yeah, one thing is if you want to share an experience particular in your life that as in a way represented a stepstone. Okay, what you mentioned, the ones that your mentors perceived, but yes, your personal experience that changed your life.
I think it's the moment you recognize yourself with the value that you have. For example, when I was at the moment to start Ocean's Voice, there were some people of other places of the planet that was going to say like, you cannot do it, you're so young, what do you think you're capable of doing, why do you think you can manage a team. At the moment I also received some support from other people because they recognize my work. But I was saying like, why my experience will determine my capacities. So at that moment, I realized that I can do, not only because of showing them I was capable of doing that, but showing myself that I was capable of doing a team and also create this community, this family. And it was not only like for myself, I had a lot of support, and knowledge in exchange of ideas. So, I mean, it's not for myself only, but I listened to what she said and or that person said, and I changed it. I was like, no, I'm capable of doing that. And I will represent Ocean's Voice in the correct way. And I would try to make this cooperation, not only with other organizations, but also with other people, because it is not easy to work with other people that is from different cultural backgrounds and that have other perceptions, other ideas, and maybe other time zones. It's not easy and it's a lot of work. So that experience had made me understand that there are more things to learn, and that it's all about the process, and you need to always change and always like improve from yourself. So that's also what we want to do with Ocean's Voice, to be this like I don't know, I can say like baby, or this being this like yes, like a baby or something that is alive, that is always in the changing and is always in the process of improving, and not only with myself but also with the people that surrounds me and the people in the community that compose this Ocean's Voice. So I also, you asked me at the beginning if I wanted to share something. Maybe I can share a little bit about the projects. I have a timeline, so that could be also a good idea. So I'm sharing my screen. So as you asked me at the beginning, and I found these because this will be introducing on Sunday to the coordinators. This is a little bit about what we are doing and the timelines and the projects that we would do through the year. So we will have, as you can see, Africa haven't done. We will finish we'll finish the regional project next week. So after they finish the regional projects, will be in green. So we will have for example, America already have a conversatorio. So the next event that we will have is the Blue Initiatives event with SOA, Sustainable Ocean Alliance. And meanwhile, we'll start with the regional projects. We also provide trainings. This means that we will not only prepare you and empower you in the topic of the ocean, but also prepare you in the topic of how can you manage your time wisely, how can you present or introduce yourself better in the webinars or in other conversation or projects. So it's more about soft skills that can make you improve as a person and can also make you improve in the topic of the ocean. So I think everything is connected. And then will be the Oceans Voice project. We will have the Oceans Voice Anniversary that will be in May. And we have the Oceans Day that will be in June, the pre-COP organization, and then the COP26. I mean, this will be also change a little bit depending on the time and events, but it's a little bit about the general topics that we'll have with each region, as you can see here.
That's wonderful, and it demonstrates properly the commitment that you are taking on leading that. And I think that thanks to this, you are running with a very, very important thing, because I can say really properly that Ocean's Voice has been like grow very fast, but also in a very, very right manner, because you are planning, and you are also capacity building yourself. That's important. Also to foster, I don't know, a cause, a mission, a battle, a struggle. How do you want to call that related to environment and so on? So
if you also allow me, I can show you some things that we can.
Sure. Go ahead.
It will be fast as well. But I think it's also important for me. Let me just a second. So as you mentioned, we have our objectives as Ocean Voice, where we have 4. We have prepare and empower young people, dissemination of ocean literacy to create this knowledge and this training and education, raise the sense of urgency. This is more related with decision makers to really make this urgency and that we are in this climate change and in the topic of the ocean, moreover. And also the last one is to contribute to ocean initiatives and also make partnerships and alliances. So these are our objectives. Our mission is to offer support in implementation of strategies. I think it's really important to have a strategy in everything you do and to have meaningful impacts. This means international collaboration initiatives, obviously in favor of ocean sustainability, obviously in a global, regional, and local level. I think that's really important. And our vision is to, as I will read it, is to be the benchmark for other organizations, international organization for by you, working for climate change, focusing on the ocean, connecting leaders on the premise that is one planet, one ocean, and one voice. So we at least took like 4 months to complete our mission, vision, and values. It's not a joke, it's not easy. But we did it together. I think it was a really hard work.
Yes, but you are doing great. And yes, we have also the time maybe for some question. I saw that some guests has joined also the room. So I don't know, Ibrahim, if you were following our discussion, if you have some question for Luciana. First of all, thank you for being here. So
hi, Federico. Hi, Luciana. Yeah, sorry, I'm just joining, and yeah, I will catch up with the discussion later. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim, for joining. Yes, as it's usual for ex-chair, I also tell to Luciana that's here for the first time. We are also, as I said, it's kind of a very relaxing time, and so we are also inviting friends to join the discussion. But just to a little bit brief you up, Ibrahim, we are exposing the very important work of Ocean Voice and the very commitment that Luciana and all the people that are engaged in this great initiative are doing. Maybe in the meanwhile that Ibrahim wants, if he want, he can make a question. I kindly ask Luciana if there is a special appointment that we can mention to the listener to be there. I can say next activity that, okay, save the date.
Yes, perfect. Thank you for that. So this tomorrow.
Wow.
Tomorrow we'll have a film of Seaspiracy. We will watch the movie together, and at the end we will share our opinion about that. So we will have people that is professional in the topic. So that means that you don't have to be professional in the topic, but there will be people that has a knowledge of what is happening in fisheries and stuff. So I think there will be a really good exchange of knowledge and ideas of what truly happens in the film, because I have listened a lot of point of views, and I have watched also a lot of point of views. So I think it's important for us to consider other opinions and what happens in the reality and have a conclusion together. And also that could be also really useful for Ocean's Voice, in the sense of how can we address the problems and how can we propose the solutions, and the way sometimes you see things different than like of other people. So I think it's a really good opportunity for you to join and watch the film, and at the end have this discussion with other members.
Okay,
Tomorrow
thank you.
is 9 a.m. at CST.
Okay, perfect. So also feel free to share on the Hubzine page. We will glad also to foster the dissemination. And yes, we are, unfortunately, Ibrahim, you are coming at the very last end. So if you have like just a spelled question for Luciana, take the chance now. Even though, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, oceans, looking at the devastation of the climate and the nature crisis, I think oceans plays a very vital role in when managed and tackled properly, it can provide a huge solution to the global crisis we are facing. And actually, I am among the youth for ocean, under youth for our planet, and we have a global treaty for governments and institutions to sign, which I currently involved in submitting to Nigerian government on signing the ocean treaty that the youth for ocean have put in together. So how I want to ask how these treaties and youth more there are so many decisions that government have taken around the globe, and which has which is just mere saying, and there is no concrete action. So I don't know which hope do we have that yes, all these things that we are doing and we are taking can be considered, and not just empty promises, and can be put into action. So I doubt much, like the Paris Agreement, the NDCs, all these uh, government have pledged some responsibilities, but nothing has put in on the ground.
Okay, so I think it's a good question. And that's what I mentioned, that everything depends on the context.
Ground. So wonderful job on the
Okay.
I think he finished.
ground, but
Okay, let's Luciana respond. Okay, go ahead, Luciana.
Is
Okay, Ibrahim, I think that there is a connection problem. So, okay, let's Luciana respond.
I think it's a really good question, because sometimes this is also true that the actions and the projects that we are doing is not taken consideration. So that's what Ocean's Voice wants to promote. So, for example, in the topic that in the first project that we had at the beginning, it was in Spain, in Cartagena especially. There were so many activities, but local activities that was towards that problem. For example, the topic and the situation was in Mar Menor, and that lagoon was passing through a eutrophisation process. So there were organizations, local communities that wanted to go approach that problem, but they were not making any difference, or a big difference the way it should be. So as Ocean's Voice, and you know that other organizations can do it and other networks can do it, we promote the international collaboration towards that. So what we want is to make visible in all around the world, and this social pressure can also help to visualize the problem that is happening and the projects that are currently happening as well. So what I propose to you is a little about making a strategy, and also, I mean, it's a strategy partnership. We can talk together and we can connect with each other about what you are doing, and maybe we can support each other. I think that could be a really good opportunity. And social pressure, I think that could be also a helpful tool for you to use properly as well. But yeah, I think that is happening and happens always. And even though, and moreover, because sometimes as a young member, we recognize ourselves as, well, people recognize ourselves as unexperienced people. But I mean, the projects that we're doing and the things that we're doing is with a lot of like knowledge, and with all our capacities towards that. So I agree with you, but I think there's always a solution towards that.
Thank you, Luciana. Yes, I can say that I listen to wiser word here rather than in several expert meetings. So don't worry about the experience, I can say. And another thing that came into my mind is that yes, I take the chance also that the friends Ibrahima is here. We work together in another working group of UNEP that is dealing with marine litter and microplastic, and so of course partnership and collaboration will be glad also eventually with Ocean Voice and so on. So okay, our time now is really finished. And so thanking a lot and being full of gratitude for the presence of Luciana and his word. I let you, Luciana, leave a very last message, like a closing remark that you want to leave to the youths and the listener that are here in this share.
Okay, so I think that maybe, like, from the bottom of my heart is, be yourself, love what you're doing, but also with that knowledge and capacity that you have, help the environment, help another people, help the community, but concentrating in only one topic. For example, my passion is the ocean, but for you maybe another topic. But always use your capacities to goodness, and you're welcome to Ocean's Voice family if you would like. And also have these spaces as Domenico, with Dominican and other people, for you to learn and to open your mind to different, like, to go beyond of your capacities as well. So I think that would be really, really nice and to explore. And yeah, I will finish with that.
Thank you very much, Luciana, and thank you also, Ibrahim, for the interaction. Just remember to follow the pages of Ocean Voice, put a like in, and also follow on Instagram, and of course follow also the Hubzine page for the next appointment. So let's close here the live streaming. Thank you again, and see you the next time with XShare. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah, bye bye. Thank you. See you.
Ibrahim, I left to you my mail if you want to use it.